Good evening, Garden Ridge, and happy 1st of March. We have everybody here up on the dais for the council meeting. And it's 6 o'clock, and we will begin. If you would please rise and join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Thank you. If you would take your seats, please. And we have a very special proclamation and presentation to have tonight. So if I can have everyone from the Lions Club, please come forward and join me at the podium, please. Okay, so tonight, wow, thanks for coming, everybody. And I shouldn't be standing in front of you at all. Tonight is very special because we are honoring the Garden Ridge Lions Club and the 50th anniversary of your existence, right? 50 years, come the 6th of March, next week, right? And there's a big dinner next Wednesday night on the 8th. You guys are celebrating 50 years of existence. And let me tell you a little bit about, from the top of my head, about Garden Ridge Lions Club and everything that they do. There are members that are in the audience that are not up here right now, maybe because they didn't have their vest with them tonight. But I know, John, you're at least used to be a member, right? And a former councilman, still is, so you should actually be up here. But back in 1973, they formalized and became the Garden Ridge Lions Club. There are 42,000 members worldwide. Is that right, Steve? Yep, something like that. It's huge. And let's just talk about what the Garden Ridge Lions Club does for your city of Garden Ridge. So anything from, if you think Batcave looks good and has been picked up with trash, it's them. You don't see them out there doing it because they'll do it at different times of day and different days of the week. And there's no notice about it other than within the group, but they're out there doing that. And that's in addition to coming out and helping us, families of Garden Ridge, clean up FM 2252. By the way, April 1st, we're doing that again. It's the National Trash Off Day or Texas State Trash Off Day. What else? Paul Davis Park used to be called Garden Ridge City Park. It was the Lions Club that helped purchase the property to expand the park and then help clear the baseball diamond where it's at, correct? And then back in 1980, donated $7,000, almost $8,000 towards the park. And think about $1980 and how much that would be today. That's thousands and thousands of dollars. Every year they do vision and hearing testing at the elementary schools, but Garden Ridge Elementary, Danville Middle School, up all around Comal ISD and New Braunfels ISD, correct? There are a million other things that you guys do. Every time that we have a party in Garden Ridge for the 4th of July, for our Christmas tree lighting, the Lions Club is there. People are cooking food. I know Dick Holloway has the barrel car train running for the kids, right? And for a lot of young adults. So they're always out there in the community, and most of the time they're behind the scenes. Not just that, but they have thousands of dollars a year that they give in scholarships to our local school kids graduating and going off to college. So it's amazing what they do with such a relatively small group for the community, and how connected you are in Garden Ridge and outside of Garden Ridge and worldwide. Not just through Texas, the United States, but worldwide. It's an amazing organization. So we want to honor you today in the city of Garden Ridge with a proclamation. And if you'll excuse me, I need glasses, part of that vision testing in Garden Ridge Elementary School. Okay, so proclamation. Whereas Garden Ridge Lions Club, established in 1973, is a member of the Lions Club International, the world's largest service club organization with 1.4 million members and 46,000 clubs in more than 200 countries and geographical areas. And Garden Ridge Lions Club remains an active group in the city of Garden Ridge today and is comprised of volunteers who dedicate their time to the betterment of our communities and aiding those in need. And the members have recognized various needs in the community and have contributed to the community in many ways, including developing and enhancing Paul Davis Park, conducting hearing and vision testing at area schools, assisting with road cleanup activities, and participating in Operation Thanksgiving and Operation Santa Claus. And Garden Ridge Lions Club participates in a number of annual community events, conducts blood drives with the South Texas Blood and Tissue Center, and hosts an annual fish fry barbecue auction. And Garden Ridge Lions Club continually donates funds to support various area organizations, schools, and families in need. And Garden Ridge Lions Club has shown by its actions and continued efforts for the past 50 years that it is a significant asset to the community, providing leadership and funding projects that have greatly benefited the area and its citizens, as well as people around the world. And whereas on March 6, 2023, Garden Ridge Lions Club will celebrate 50 years of its existence as a benevolent organization serving the community. And the city of Garden Ridge is dedicated to showing appreciation to our volunteer organizations. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that I, Rob Erickson, Mayor of Garden Ridge, Texas, do hereby proclaim March 6, 2023, in the city of Garden Ridge as Garden Ridge Lions Club Appreciation Day. Furthermore, in honor of their 50th anniversary, I urge all citizens to recognize the achievements Garden Ridge Lions Club has made to our community and commend them for a wonderful heritage and a bright future. In witness thereof, I sign by my hand an official seal of the city of Garden Ridge on this first day of March 2023. A big round of applause, please. Got it, Linda? Hey, before we do that, really quick. So, Steve, we're going to, as the president of the Garden Ridge Lions Club, we are going to present this. Jesse Valdez, Jesse and Linda are going to present this on my behalf for the city, from the city of Garden Ridge. The proclamation, a sign, it's the proclamation signed. That's an original signature in there for you guys to put up in your meeting room or wherever you guys want to. We'll hold on to it tonight so Jesse and Linda can present it next week, but I wanted to get that in the picture, if we would, please. I will get over it by Debbie. How's that? Council members in there.
Well, we appreciate the people of Garden Ridge, and they've supported us for years in our annual fish fry and barbecue. And just a facet a lot of people don't know, you go to Paul Davis Park. Well, Paul Davis Park was one of the original 25 founders of the Garden Ridge Lions Club back in 1973. And he was a member, at least through what I can determine, at least through 1986. So we've got a big history here in Garden Ridge. And we couldn't have this history without the help of the Garden Ridge City Council and the citizens of Garden Ridge. So we appreciate all your support that you give us. So thank you.
Anybody else?
I'll just tell you the other 2/3 of us will be here in a little bit.
Anybody else? Please. Gary?
No, thanks.
Okay. Dick, anything to say? No?
We're the younger members, that's what I'll tell you, that's why we're here.
Can I shake everybody's hand before you?
Yes. Thank you, Mary.
Pleasure's all mine. Sir, thank you. Pleasure's all mine. Great to see you. Thank you. Congrats. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor. Yes, sir. Sir, it's my pleasure. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. It's a pleasure. One more round of applause. Can I swap this? You can have this. I'll take that, so Jesse can bring it.
All right.
Does that work? Great. Works for me. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right, thank you. What a wonderful opportunity. We will move on from item number 3, proclamations and presentations, to item number 4, citizen comment period. Everybody has 3 minutes. We can't comment on what you're saying, but it doesn't mean we're not taking notes and paying attention. So the first person to speak is Chris Jimenez. From the Tri-County Chamber of Commerce.
Yes,
Good to
sir.
see you, Chris. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. The floor is yours, sir.
Thank you. Good evening, council members. Thank you for having me here. I am a board member with Tri-County Chamber of Commerce, and at one of our board meetings, we noticed that we didn't really get a lot of city involvement because we weren't letting y'all know when we were doing events. So I did bring some flyers for you all that got passed out. It's missing one date on there, but I'm still going to read them off for you all. We have a luncheon on March 14th, and that's going to be represented by Live Oak. And then we have a casino night, March 23rd, at the Bluebonnet Palace. Every first Tuesday at Willie's in Cibolo is a spirits night, and proceeds from that, we gather and we donate to local teachers for their supplies, for crayons, pencils, paper, so on and so forth. So we get with the schools and we find out who needs it, and we pass it out, we distribute it evenly. The one that's not on there is April 27th, and that is our mixer, and it is sponsored by the great city of Garden Ridge. Not too sure where we're going to have it, but I'm assuming we're going to have it at Paul Davis Park. And then our last one is our golf tournament at TPC on May 2nd, and we're still looking for sponsors. And that's all I have. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks so much, Chris. Appreciate you coming out tonight. Okay, the second name on the list is Mr. Chip Utterback. It's good to see you, sir. The floor is yours.
Howdy, thanks. I'm Chip Utterback. I live at 8515 Wildwind Park in the Wildwind subdivision, and I'm really here tonight for something simple, and that's to make you aware of a situation that I'm concerned about, and ask you to also to investigate what is potentially a serious, very serious fire danger, not only to my subdivision, but I think it could possibly affect the city of Garden Ridge if the fire potential that I see migrates. It could have significant fire and infrastructure implications. You should have a handout that shows the area I'm concerned about. It's as far as background goes, it's a 66-acre active aggregate surface mine operation. It's known as Briggs Pit, and it directly borders 12 of the residents in Wildwind Park and right along that road. While the mine is wholly outside of our city limits, you can see that it directly abuts up to the city limits, and in fact, the pit itself, and it's not really a pit where I'm talking about, is bounded by 3 sides of the city. Mining operations began there back in 2016, and it began as they came in, if you look at the bottom picture, and removed a very heavily wooded area out there, and they pushed all of that timber into a single pile out there. That pile is not quite the size of a football field, and it's located 50 yards southwest and east from what you can see as a heavily wooded city property, along with private lots that are there. We used overhead imagery to take a look and to measure, that pile measures approximately 400 feet by 75 feet wide and long, and it ranges anywhere from 10 to 20 feet high. Again, it's approximately 150 feet away from a thickly wooded city limit, and it's on flat ground, not enclosed in any way. I think it's also important to note that there's blue dots on there. That's those ugly high-tension power lines that cross our city in 2 or 3 places. And 350 feet from my property line, that's another one. Basically, the location, the size, the condition, and the large pile of that decaying timber that's very close to our city limit and to a number of personal lots, especially now that we're under extreme and exceptional drought conditions and with the winds that we have, creates a potentially widespread fire issue for our city. It can move quickly. A single lightning strike or a spontaneous combustion could end up devastating lots of homes that are surrounded by that wooded. So just giving you a heads up, something we need to look at for the protection of our city. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. As always, it's good to see you.
Thanks.
Next up is Cheryl Byther from Trophy Oaks Drive. Hi, Cheryl. It's good to see you, ma'am. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I am Cheryl Byther. I'm at 9925 Trophy Oaks Drive. I'm here tonight representing the Garden Ridge Women's Club. I'd come to this venue touting our fundraiser that we were having for Valentine's Day, and I wanted to come back and thank the community for the Valentine's party, dance, and fundraiser that we did in the community center. We had a great turnout. We had very generous support from donors and sponsors, and we did very well as a fundraiser that will all go back to the community. We haven't got final figures yet, but it did better than our marketplace, our holiday marketplace that had been our annual fundraiser. So I wanted to come and thank the community. We are evaluating making that an annual event. We're looking at lessons learned, and we'll do it better the next time. We're also evaluating how to do some other, we got a lot of feedback that people had a really good time. And we're looking at other things that we can do other than fundraising to maybe give back to the community and get people involved. The other thing I wanted to ask is for everybody to put on your calendar, we are doing another fundraiser at the next Garden Ridge Marketplace, or Market Days. We will have a booth that where we're selling bedding plants and some hand-painted pots and bird-friendly birdhouses that we'll have. So March 11th, the next Garden Ridge Market Days, we will do another fundraiser. Thank you.
Thanks, Cheryl. Always good to see you. Okay, that is all we have for sign up for item number 4, citizen comment period. We will move on to the consent agenda, item number 5. These items may be acted upon in a single motion. No separate discussion or action on these items will be held unless requested by a council member. Public comment on these items may be heard during citizens' participation. However, that does not mean the item will be considered outside the consent agenda. So, council, does anybody have anything they'd like to pull from the consent agenda tonight? Okay, if nobody has anything they want to pull, then can I get a motion to approve?
Move to approve the consent agenda?
We have a motion to approve the consent agenda. Can I get a second?
Second.
Motion to approve and a second. Can I, any further discussion before we call it to a vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Outstanding. The consent agenda passes. On to item number 6, staff reports. 6A, City Administrator Monthly Activity Report. Nancy, ma'am, the floor is yours. Busy month.
Thank you, Mayor. We have the police department received a thank you from I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing their name right, Feliones, Garden Ridge residents, and they thank the police department for keeping an eye on their home while they were away. Then, March is huge month for employee anniversaries. We have 5 employees who have been here for a number of years. Would you like to begin our video, please? Eric Lohman, 16 years. Officer Steve Dennis, 8 years. Officer Joe Temke, 6 years. Officer McKenzie, 3 years. And Utility Department, Robert Mann, 2 years. Thank you all for your tenure and your service to the city of Garden Ridge. Okay, volunteer hours for the month of February. Water Department had 6.5 hours from the ladies who helped stuff water bills. The library had 163 hours, and the Parks Committee had a total of 48 hours. And the only other thing that I wanted to add to my report is that First Friday is coming up this Friday, March the 3rd, from 5 to 7 at Paul Davis Park. The theme is Luck of the Irish. There will be live music by Garden Ridge resident Paul Duke, and Davenport High School seniors will be cooking hamburgers and hot dogs.
Payback.
So the council would love to see residents come out and visit with them on Friday, March the 3rd.
All the cool people will be there. So, Lisa, you can come too. All right. That was cha-ching-ching. Okay. Thank you, Nancy. Is
You're
that it?
welcome. That's all I have.
All right.
Thank you.
See you at First Friday. 6B, Finance and HR Monthly Activity Report. Miss Christine, happy non-birthday. Your birthday is the 29th of February. So it's actually today-ish.
Today-ish?
She's 5 years old.
Okay. You're off a few years, but okay. Thank you, Mayor and Council. Really, the only thing I have to report is that this Finance Department and senior staff are going to start working on reviewing the fiscal year 23 budget for any line items that may need to have budget amendments done. And we hope to have that presented to council by the April council meeting. That's it. That's all I got.
Thanks, Christine.
Thank you.
Council, I forgot to ask if anybody had questions for Nancy or Christine. I was too busy making a good joke. Okay. Jesse thought it was a good joke. Okay. Thank you. On to item number 6C, City Secretary Marissa, ma'am. Busy. Floor's yours.
There's a couple things I want to highlight on my report. For the City of Garden Ridge general and special election, we had a candidate submit a certification of withdrawal, so that leaves the 3 incumbents unopposed. But since we do have a proposition that will be on the ballot, the incumbents will be listed on the ballot as unopposed declared elected. And the early voting hours have been set, as you can see on the report. Those have been posted on the website as well. And there is additional information about this election on the elections page on the city's website. For the draft zoning ordinance, it's been finalized after many long days and nights, but it's been finalized. It is published on the city's website. It's in the lobby for anyone to read. And City Council will conduct a public hearing on that on Monday, March 27th at 6 p.m. And residents can expect to receive a postcard informing them of the public hearing sometime next week. And then the second page of my report I threw in there this month because I personally find analytics interesting. And these are the analytics from our Facebook page that just shows you what our audience is. So just for other people like me that find these things interesting, there you go. That is all I have.
Thank you, Marissa. Council, questions for Marissa? Outstanding. Great work. All right, 6D, on to the Police Department Monthly Activity Report. Chief, sir, the floor is yours.
Thank you, sir. This one working? Yep. Sounds like looks like it's full apart, so. Now we got it. You got it on yet?
Nope.
Get a microphone that works. There we go. After all that, I don't have a whole lot to add to the report, though. Most of it's already listed there. It is interesting, if you notice, under our outreach efforts, we have also 90 hours of volunteer service. And what I find interesting is a lot of those hours and a lot of those people that conduct those hours are also Lions members that swerve over on both sides and have multiple interactions with different agencies. So it's really interesting how everybody mingles together out here. The only other thing I want to bring up is Officer Lovano completed his FTO, so he's now been released, full-fledged officer out on the road now, night shift. And we still have one. Officer Bracimento is still in training. A few more weeks on that one. We'll get him up and going. And we're still looking for spots for two officers that we still have openings for. All the academies right now are in their first weeks. They all started right after the beginning of the year. So there's some outreach efforts going on there. There's a job fair going on with ACOG, so we're involved with all that, and we'll see if we can get these filled as quick as we can.
That's great work, Chief.
I have nothing else, sir.
Okay, great. So Hector's through and he's working night shifts by himself?
Yes, sir. Well,
Sal's
not by
still going-
himself, but yes.
Ish? And Sal's still working on it?
We don't want anybody working by themselves if we can prevent it.
Right. Gotcha.
But yes, Sal
Plugging
came
away.
out of the academy, so FTO, our average FTO is 14 to 16 weeks anyway.
That's great. Good job.
Hector was able to cut that down due to his experience.
Great work, Chief. Thanks. Council, anything to add for the chief? Okay. Moving on to Public Works, 6E. Stephen, the floor is yours, sir.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. For February, the Public Works completed 506 work orders, recorded 60 pounds of trash removed by the right-of-ways from volunteers, 43 pounds removed by Public Works employees. We're currently replacing some of our old junked vehicles on Gov Deals. It's an auction site, so hopefully we'll be able to get rid of some of our junked vehicles that we have and old equipment. For Oak Wilt, we're still waiting on signatures for participating residents. We're still trying to secure 2 more residents. They need to get with Mr. Edmondson and let him educate them on the Oak Wilt and the trench that's actually going to be going through their yard. Did you ever get that map? There's the red is the proposed trench line. It'll be connecting off of a existing trench off of Sumac Cove, going down towards Sorrel, doubling back into resident on Sumac Cove, then to their neighbor, and then connecting back across Sumac Cove, the street, into the existing trench again. So that's what we're proposing to do. I mean, it could change, the directions could change on it, but not much. March, we'll have the trash dumpsters back on the weekends. And Eric Lohman and Andrew Klein completed a traffic flagging class, and Andrew Klein also passed his basic water test. Now he has a D license. And we have 1 dog ready for adoption. Everything, he's been vetted, checks out with a vet, so he's all good to go. That's all I have for Public Works.
Thank you, Stephen. You want to take just a couple minutes, or just really quick, to talk about our ongoing discussions and our persistence with the TxDOT operation of the fiber optic cable going around 3009. I know we have some residents here that want to hear what the city is pursuing and helping to do.
Yes. I've been in contact with Techstar. They were supposed to do some repairs to the right-of-way before the end of the month. That did not occur. They did do some topsoiling around some of their utility boxes that they did. So I have contacted them and added a few people from TxDOT and the president of the Techstar industry. He did write me back. He wants to have a meeting about some of the issues with maybe planting trees back and completing all the post-construction topsoil and revegetation in those areas and fence repair. So we're going to schedule another meeting. I might have TxDOT accompany us on that meeting also, since it is there right away.
Okay, thank you, Stephen. And just to let everybody know, your voices to the council and your voices to the city are being heard. Your voices to me are being heard, and we're doing everything we can as a city to help that process along to return as close as we can to return that the damaged property, then that right of way back to how it was. There are certain things that we know we can't fix, like rock formations. So, but as far as vegetation and whatnot, we're working as hard as we can to make sure that that gets completed. So keep up the good work, Stephen. Mr. Leatherberry, keep it up, and let us know your thoughts continuing, and we'll just keep pressing forward, and we're not letting go of this, okay? So, thank you. Stephen, anything else?
No.
Council, anything about utilities or about Public Works? Okay, you're still on.
Okay. For February, we pumped 3.6 acre feet out of the Edwards. For the year, 8.87. We have 606.81 acre feet available. The Edwards is still in stage 3 restrictions, and we're in stage 2. Trinity is at 49, we pumped 49.63 acre feet. For the year, we pumped out of Trinity 105. All bacterial samples and required sampling for our distribution system came back good. Our water loss percentage went up a little. We think we know what caused that. We found a leaky fire hydrant that we didn't know about, so we're in the process of getting parts ordered for that so we can get that repaired. It's off right now, so it's not leaking anymore. City-owned leaks, 1. Meters read, 1,698. Work orders performed by the Utilities Department, 431. Stage 2 restriction alerts, February alerts were 358, down 125 from January. And I didn't have it on here, but I'd like to add that we did have to replace one of our vertical turbine motors at the 2252 plant because it's pretty much ran its course. It was a rebuilt motor before, so we didn't really want to just go ahead and rebuild it again. We just wanted to get a brand new one so we have a longer life on it. Since we're in these stages and all, we want reliable equipment. So we have a new motor up at 2252 plant, which is an Edwards. And that's all I have to report.
Thank you, Stephen. We need rain. Council, anything to add? Utilities? Jesse?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I appreciate you changing out that motor with the new one. I think that's a better idea, so I'm glad you did that. Is there any other major work coming up that you need to do on other pumps or anything coming up?
We'd like to pull the Trinity pump up at the shop because it's been a while since that one's been done. So we'd like to get that one looked at and possibly get some new motors and pumps added to that. But other than that, that's pretty much it.
Right now is a good time to do it before the peaks in the summer hit. So yeah, good planning there. I appreciate you staying on top of the PMs. And I also like the trends on all the data. Everything's going in the right direction. So good work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Jesse. Todd? Okay. Thanks, Stephen. As always, great work. On to number 6F, the library monthly activity report. Miss Linda, it's good to see you.
Good evening.
Floor is yours, ma'am.
Thank you. I also wanted to add my thanks to the Lions Club. They've just done so much for the library. They're always volunteering. They've provided Lone Star books to the library every year for as long as I can remember. Today is the first day of Women's History Month. It's called, the theme this year is celebrating women who tell our stories, not who tell you stories. Of course, every month should be Women's Month, I think, and you may think it is, I don't know. A quote I came across said, "Stop telling girls they can be anything they want when they grow up. I think it's a mistake. Not because they can't, but because it would never have occurred to them that they couldn't." Although I cannot kill those big giant Texas giant centipedes, I just can't. It's obvious that God meant for men to kill the bugs, bigger feet. But I digress. Tomorrow, March 2nd, is recognized as Texas Independence Day. It took 7 weeks from their declaration until they actually won their independence. And remember, it was a republic, an independent country, for 9 years. Well, here's another great literary work. I wrote another one this year. It's a little different from last year's. And Mayor, you're going to like it. The eyes of Texas are upon you, that is what they say, from El Paso to Beaumont, from Panhandle to Corpus Bay. It is indeed a giant, vibrant, full of fiery heat. Texans are inordinately proud. Feelings are more than skin deep. Originally filled with scamps and scalawags. Oh, remember, I'm a 6th generation Texan, I can say that. Are people so dirt poor they were tattered and in rags? Whether it was the law or sketchy finances, Texas was a place to give them second chances. Mexico enticed Yanks with easy payments for cheap land, but mainly they knew they were crazy enough to fight the Comanche bands. For even soldiers feared those bloodthirsty tribes. Mexicans wouldn't settle Texas, no matter what the bribes. But after years, relations became corroded. The Yanks felt they were being cheated and defrauded. Though there was blame on both sides, the settlers felt a great unresolvable divide. Mexico changed the rules that long had been in place. Americans were too proud to accept that with any grace. They wished to determine their own fate, but El Presidente Santa Anna wouldn't negotiate. Men like Travis, Fannin, and Crockett paid for freedom with their own blood. Sam Houston marched for days through torrential rain and mud. And on the 21st of April, he struck like a thunderclap while Santa Anna was snoozing in his siesta's daily nap. For on that day, they lifted Mexico's heavy yoke. Houston won the battle with an 18-minute stroke. Austin to Houston, the Alamo, El Paso, Crystal City, and Waco. Giant, defiant, the land I love. P.S. Higher education through the state abounds. Tech, Baylor, and Rice are all hallowed grounds. There's a Texas University, but it's not what you may think. Its ugly burnt orange will make your aesthetics shrink. However, the University of Texas is a wonderful creation, for it lies in the woodlands of Bryan College Station. Maroon and white, you're really gonna dig 'em. When you hear Aggies, whoop, gig 'em. Austin to Houston, the Alamo. Giant, defiant, the land I love. That's all. So, for a little old lady who's, so gentle and so meek, did I ever tell you I have a mean streak? So,
Okay, thank you, Miss Linda. Whoop and gig 'em.
yeah,
And TU's up there somewhere too, so.
yeah, yeah.
Great work. And thank you for that. I love listening to that. Council, I'll go to my left, okay? Yes.
Continued great work. Thanks.
No, but yes, I have something to say. Good, it's funny. Todd, Jesse, Lise, Kelly, thanks. Awesome. All right. That concludes staff reports. On to item number 7, city engineer project status report. Sam can't be with us tonight, and Nancy has his update. Ma'am?
Thank you, Mayor. The update it's not a huge update. Sam is working on the permit to submit to TxDOT so we can get approval on our water line relocations and be able to go out for bids on that project and then get construction started. Also, he continues receiving phone calls from potential developers inquiring about how they connect to water, sewer. So he is receiving calls. People are showing some interest, but so far we haven't seen much, but it's coming. That's all I had, Mayor, unless council has questions.
Thank you, Nancy. Anybody have
You're
questions for Nancy regarding engineering projects? The item number 2 there, talking with the city of Schertz, a lot of behind-the-scenes work with Nancy and Sam, talking to the city of Schertz and pushing that along, and we're having some progress, so hopefully. Thanks, Nancy. Okay, moving on to item number 8, City Commission and Committee Reports, Recommendations, Possible Actions. This will go quick for the first little bit. 8A, Planning and Zoning. Planning and Zoning Commission did not meet in February, so there is no update. 8B, Water Commission. The Water Commission did not meet in February, so there is no update. And the Home Rule Charter Commission, 8C, they did not meet in February, so there is no update. That moves us along to 8D, Parks Committee. Mr. Rod Chamberlain. As always, sir, it's great to see you. Thanks for what you do, and the entire Parks Committee.
Good evening. Our last general membership meeting was held on February the 8th, and our next general meeting is this coming Wednesday, a week from today, on March 8th at 9:30 a.m. It'll be held in the Blue Bonnet Room at the Community Center. You're always welcome to come and visit. Over the last 30 days, our focus has been on working with the publisher/editor of the Garden Ridge Scroll magazine, Debbie Weber, to improve awareness about our city parks and also to ask for volunteers. The article will be in the next month's issue. The Scout projects, Scout Sean Turnage from Troop 512 is working on an award and has selected Paul Davis Park for his project. He will be leading and managing a cleanup project at Paul Davis Park on Saturday, March the 11th in the early afternoon. We were really excited and appreciative about him selecting Paul Davis Park for that project. And we're also excited about another Scout reaching out to the Parks Committee to do their Eagle Scout qualifications project. Scout Marcus Arvison from Troop 828 is working towards his Eagle Scout designation. The Parks Committee held a preliminary meeting with him on site at Paul Davis Park. Ultimately, he will be presenting a package to the Parks Committee, and then we will bring it forward to council with presentation by the Scout for your consideration and approval. So we're really excited about the activity from the Scouts supporting our parks and the Parks Committee. Based on the outcome of January's brainstorming session with our city administrator, the director of public works, and the leadership team of the Parks Committee, we now have planned meetings now being held with the director of public works to discuss procedures and processes, requests and prioritizations around maintenance and improvements of our parks, and support for our city's annual celebrations. And our focus over the next 60 days will be planning and scheduling of our city's 2023 4th of July celebration. It will be here in a blink of an eye. March 7th is review of ordinance number 24 with the city administrator. If anyone on council has any suggestions around edits for ordinance number 24, please reach out either to the city administrator or myself. We'll take any feedback you can give us on this. March 11th, once again, Scout Sean Turnage will go ahead and execute his cleanup of the park at Paul Davis Park. And we're continuing to work on reviewing the park section within the city's official website, hopefully presenting stuff back to City Hall for edits and updates. And we also will be initiating the Parks Committee budgetary process for the upcoming fiscal year. And as always, we're looking for ways for volunteers to come join our team and everything from that side, and not only to help us work in the parks, but we also, anyone that's got a skill with regards to web design, i.e. content, not actually doing programming, or someone that wants to go ahead and work as a photographer, as an MC, or work on the events that we put together for decorations, set up or tear down, we really would appreciate their assistance on that as well. And if anyone does have any questions or wishes to volunteer, you can reach us at gardenridgeparks with an S at gmail.com. Mr. Mayor, this concludes my update. It's back to you.
Thank you, Rod. Greatly appreciate your update and all of your hard work. Council, anything for Parks Committee? No? Okay, thanks so much, sir.
Thank
I
you.
still owe you that phone call and coffee.
You got it.
We'll get to that. Sorry, I'm just thinking, reminding myself about it right now, so we'll chat about that. Okay, that concludes item number 8. On to item number 9, approvals and authorizations. The following items are for discussion, consideration, and action. 9A, ordinance number 14303-2023, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Garden Ridge, Texas, granting a 120-day extension of an existing exclusive franchise agreement between the City of Garden Ridge and BFI Waste Services of Texas, also known as Republic. I'll skip the rest of that since we have some updates to that before we go further. So Nancy, I'll turn it over to you to give the council an update.
Thank you, Mayor. Our current solid exclusive agreement for collection and disposal of solid waste as well as recycling with Republic expires March 31st of this year. I had proposed to extend the contract for 120 days, effective this council meeting. However, Republic would like the contract to run its course, which would be the 31st of March, and council provide for the extension, or take action on the 120-day extension at our April council meeting. They would like the contract to run through the end. They have guaranteed, there's a copy of a letter that we received from Mr. Armstrong, our municipal services representative with Republic, guaranteeing that they will continue service as we receive it today until that April 5th council meeting, at which time council could take action on the extension of the contract. The 120 days will allow us to continue negotiating the contract. I actually began talking with Republic back in July. It takes them a while to get their information out of their, from what I'm understanding, out of their main offices to Mr. Armstrong. He has brought forward I think it's 5 different proposals now. I will endeavor to keep our current services as close as possible to what we are currently receiving. I guarantee you that there will be a price increase. There's not going to be any way around that. But I will endeavor, and I'm hoping that before the 120 days is over, that we will be coming back to you, or I'll be coming back to you with a new contract. So really, there's no action needed on this item tonight.
Thank you, Nancy. So no action needed, as Nancy said, and she mentioned she's been talking to our point of contact as a city with Republic Services since July. It's very difficult sometimes to push that along, and Nancy's been extremely tenacious with making sure that everything with our waste services continues to go as planned. We have, as I will quote Nancy, the Cadillac of services for waste management in the city of Garden Ridge, with our twice a week garbage pickup, once a week recycling, and then on odd month weekends, bulk dumpsters for our residents. So we want to keep that, and Nancy and I are working very hard to do that, and there will be a price increase. We want to keep the Cadillac service, and that's what everybody's used to. So right now it's $26 a month for that. It's going to go up. We're still looking for another 7-year contract.
Yes.
And go ahead.
They would like a 7-year contract, which I think that would be adequate. However, we may start seeing some automated services. There may not be any way around that.
So we will work to have a contract that if there needs to be automated services in there, that it'll be phased in over time.
Yes, it would be phased.
We may not have much of a choice in that, just based on how that business is going and that industry. So, but we're working hard. We'll hopefully have an update for you even in April. So we'll see,
Hopefully have an update.
hopefully.
Nancy, have we been approached by any other vendors by chance?
Actually, 2 of them.
Gotcha.
And
this
highly
is-
automated vendors. So not Republic and not personalized service, very automated. So that's where the industry's heading. Anything else, Kelly? Good question. Kay?
Well, I appreciate your effort on it because, to be honest, we are spoiled with the service we're getting. I don't know of any other city that gets the quality of service and the frequency of service. And I know just for the 2 of us, we have so much stuff. And I just can't imagine dropping down to 1 a week. And I think things could happen. I think it could get trashy, no pun intended, with stuff waiting to be picked up and so forth. And the only thing I would ask is if there's a robot at the end of my driveway, that he throw it back on my driveway rather than in the middle of the street. But other than that, I'm very happy with the service, and I hope we can, or maybe a slight increase.
I guarantee there will be an increase.
No,
I
I
can't
know.
tell you exactly what
No,
it's
I
going to be
understand,
yet,
but I'm just saying, I
there will be
acknowledge
an
that,
increase.
yeah, especially for a 7-year commitment.
Thanks so much, Kay. We're working hard on that one. Okay, we'll move on to 9B, award of bank depository and collateral agreement between the City of Garden Ridge and First United Bank. Christine and/or Nancy.
So is it on? Okay. Thank you, Mayor. Basically, we did advertise for requests for proposals. We received the 1 proposal. It met all the requirements that we placed in our request. And it's a requirement to have a bank depository every 5 years. So we could have asked council to go outside the city limits, but we felt as though because First United did meet all the requirements and they are within the city and they have a good relationship with the city, that they were going to be our best option. That's it.
Completely agree. Thanks, Christine. Nancy, anything else to add on that?
No, they've been very responsive to the city's needs over time. I will also just let you know that as the interest rates started increasing several months back, of course, our duty is to make sure that we invest the city's money to the highest yield possible. And we started moving money out of First United to Texpool. And they came back to us and asked us to leave our money in First United and matched Texpool's rate. So they have been extremely responsive to us. They are a huge supporter of our police department and different other activities in the city. And this way we're able to, awarding this to First United, we're able to keep things within Garden Ridge.
And both John and Jeff from First United Bank, both in shirts and then in here, are very, very interested in their relationship with Garden Ridge, as well as the commercial development, responsible commercial development of our 2252 corridor. And Nancy and I and Lisa meet with them regularly, and we have another meeting with them later on this month. So we have a great relationship, and I highly recommend that we keep this going. So, council, any other questions for Christine or Nancy? Nancy, go ahead.
I do have one thing to add. If council so chooses to approve this agreement, we do need to have you add to the motion that the city administrator is authorized to sign the agreement with First United Bank. And that's all I had.
Okay, council, so I wrote it down as fast as you could as well. If there's no further discussion, then can we have a motion to approve the award of the bank depository and collateral agreement between the City of Garden Ridge and First United Bank, and our city administrator is authorized to sign that agreement?
I make a motion that City of Garden Ridge join the bank deposit, or sign the bank depository and collateral agreement with First United Bank, and the city administrator be authorized to sign the agreement on the city's behalf.
We have a motion to approve as stated. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion to approve and as stated, and a second. Any further discussion? Call it to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Outstanding. The motion passes. Thank you, Christine. Thank you, Nancy. On to number 9C, aggregate mining operations adjacent to the City of Garden Ridge. Okay. So we heard in citizens' comments earlier from Mr. Chip Utterback, retired Lieutenant General Chip Utterback, about the aggregate mining operation going on right behind Wildwind, adjacent to the city, but outside of the city limits. Borders Garden Ridge at 3 sides, and part of that border on the northwest side, I guess you'd say, is, and do we have the pictures that I sent up? Is Bensil Road, which is part in Garden Ridge, and then part of the development is outside. So yeah, call that one up. Sorry, that was the biggest file I could send. Sorry. So you can see that's phase 3 of Wildwind that you see there, that was annexed into the city when Wildwind was developed back in 2005/2006. You can see the property just above Wildwind, just north of Wildwind. That is that acreage right off of Bat Cave Road. And then you can see Bensil just above that. And then the rest is unincorporated San Antonio, but Bexar County. So that mining operation has been ongoing since, like General Utterback said, since 2016. If you want to call up one of the other pictures, maybe the one that, call up that one. That's the one from Lisa. So you can see there's an aerial view of it with Wildwind, Bensil, and then that property. You can also see the power lines going through there. It's outside of the city limits of Garden Ridge. So there is our ability to influence or ask for certain concessions is limited because they are outside the city of Garden Ridge limits, yet still inside Comal County. So let's address the fire hazard that General Utterback talked about. We saw it earlier and you have it right in front of you, with the roughly a football field size of debris that they cleared in 2016 to get ready for aggregate mining operations. I contacted Chief Zip from Bracken Volunteer Fire Department, who put me in contact with our Comal County Fire Marshal, Corey Klabundi, and he did a little bit of an investigation into it, and we don't have very many options. I will say that the owner-operator of Briggs Pit, is really what it is, with Lion Cave LLC, is very responsive to the residents that have, from Wildwind specifically, that have come and talked to him, and has been very responsible to be as good a citizen as he can be, or good as owner and operator of this, next to a very nice developments. You can see, you can't really see it here, but he built a very large wall of dirt, mound of dirt, between Wildwind, most of the properties there, and his mining operation. And he said to the fire marshal about the fire danger, that his plan is to eventually ask for a burn permit once the burn ban is lifted for a while, but he doesn't want to do any of that until we have some good wet weather where the burn ban is lifted, and he could apply for a permit to burn it down. I don't know if I'm a huge fan of that. So that conversation is going to be ongoing. One of the other complaints that we had is their hours of operation. So they can be daylight only mining operations, and it's called an APO, an aggregate production operation, right, Lisa? So, and we have done, Lisa and I have done a lot of research, Lisa more than me, on looking into their TCEQ permit, and we're having we can see their permit, but not all of it, and what their time of operations allow. If it says it's 24-hour, then there's not much we can do about that, other than complain to TCEQ. If we find that it's daylight operations, then they would need to cease that operation in the morning before the sun comes up, because I can hear them from my house early morning sometimes. And then after the sun goes down, I've heard them as late as well after 10 o'clock at night. You can hear them with their rock crushers, and you can hear the trucks backing up. Another thing, I'm sure you can hear it. Yeah, so you hear it, at least? No? Got a fan going? So, okay. Another thing we can do is ask them to see if the operator can change the volume of the backup noises that the trucks make. You can adjust that volume or have them make a little bit different sound. We don't want unsafe operations, obviously, but we can ask them to do that. Air quality. When I went and saw you want to call up the picture of the actual pile up there? When I went and saw it, looking to the south, to the left of this, there's a lot of debris and dust coming from the mining operation. So I'd asked, hey, what about their particle materials in the air that we monitor with our own quarry? So TCEQ, their permit does not require that. And if we wanted to do something to help out as a community, we could request like a university help us out, to help us fund a project with residents to put an air quality monitor to see what kind of particulates are in the air on a consistent basis from them. All of this is a way to say there's not much we can do other than keep digging into the permit and have a good relationship with the operator owner, which is the same thing we do as a city with our own mining operation, our own APO right behind us. So I'm giving you guys an update on that. I wanted to put it on the agenda for this month based on the complaints that I had from Wildern residents, and then one other resident that lives off of Ben's Hill that's outside the city limits about the mining operation. So giving you an update, and I know Jim Sturch and General Ledbeck, you guys are hopefully watching online, and we'll keep the process going to see if there's something we can help out with. Anybody have anything to add or thoughts on this? Kelly?
No, I mean, being that they're in the ETJ, we can't, there's nothing we could do about noise, right? That's.
Yeah, they're not even in our ETJ. They are just.
Well, yeah, not our ETJ. Yeah, they're San Antonio ETJ.
There's nothing we can do. Really, there's not much other than try to be good neighbors with the owner operator and see what we can do.
Yeah, I just wanted to make the point clear that it's not just the 10 neighbors across there. I'm on phase 2, and you can hear it all the way over there, all times of the night, the morning. There's been times we've been, like triggered out of bed, man.
Yeah.
It's pretty loud with the jackhammering and stuff, so, and it travels far.
I will say with that one of the residents talked to, because there's high-tension power lines going right through there when they were doing blasting back in, I think, 2020, and that got stopped because of the power lines going through there, so. But anything else? Lise, thanks for all your research.
Just of note, oh, here's the video. I haven't seen the video. Just of note, this is 0.3 miles away from the battery storage facility as well, so it's.
And the hits just keep on coming.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Just great.
We'll talk about that here in a little bit. Jesse? Todd? No. Okay?
Thanks for looking into it.
Yeah. Doing our best.
And we did get, I should note that we do have a couple of names that we can follow up with. There is, I forget what her title is, Jill, something, I
Just
can't
say Jill.
remember.
Yeah.
Jill, yes, who often helps cities deal with these kinds of things. And their cities are, like Dallas is moving towards doing their own monitoring, but they have to calibrate their monitors to TCEQ's, what would you say? TCEQ's standards? Is that
Or
what
lack
every-
thereof.
Or lack thereof.
Did I just say that?
So we've got some contacts. I've got a contact out of Dallas that we could visit with as well and see how they're doing, if it's working. I don't know.
Is there anyone that the actual residents, the citizens can call directly? Is that same
No.
person?
No, she's
But
out of Dallas.
Maybe we start sicking them
She's an independent.
on these individuals.
I just think, calling the owner operators, or filing complaints with TCEQ.
Yeah, and it's Jill Shackelford, right?
Jill Shackelford.
Shackelford.
Shush.
Jesse, anything? Okay. Yeah, I'd like to keep this, I want to continue doing some research here and keep this on the agenda for next month. Are you guys okay with that? Just to see if we can give an update, and I'll reach out to Jill Shackelford and see if we can get some options. TCEQ is, once you get on the website looking for a permit, you can be there. It's a black hole. It's not a rabbit hole. It's a black hole, and you're gone for a while. And it's very, very difficult to get somebody on the phone to talk to you about it. So, okay, thank you for your patience with that, and more to follow. We'll move on to better stuff here. So 9D, 2023 Texas Legislative Session. I know we got some pictures here. Okay, the City of Garden Ridge, went up on Monday, myself, Lisa, and as the pro tem, and Nancy as our administrator, went up on Monday to see our 88th Texas State Legislature in session. That is us on the Senate floor. At that time, right behind us, they were debating, and there's no comments, they were just debating Senate Bill number 2, which has to do with voting, how do I say this, voting operations within the state, and changing voter fraud from a Class C misdemeanor to a felony. So, and Lisa let me know all about that, because I didn't know what that was. So, and we listened to that, which was great. This is us with Carrie Isaac. She is our representative, newly elected for this district to the House of Representatives. It's very nice of her to come out of committee. She was in committee at the time to have a quick photo op and see us all. And we met her last August at First Friday. She stopped by when she was campaigning. She campaigned very hard, obviously, and she won the seat. Next picture. That is Donna Campbell, and she came out of committee as well to come meet us. That's looking back towards just outside of her office. She has a very nice office, by the way. And we got to meet with her staff, her staffers, and we appreciate the opportunity to go up there and meet them. We had a very good meeting with Carrie Isaac's Chief of Staff, Mr. Terry Franks, who has remarkable experience and knowledge at the state capitol. He's been doing this since he was at UT as a sophomore, as a Senate messenger, and has worked for governors, and representatives and senators, took a break to go back to his farm, and now he's back working with our direct representative, Kerry Isaac. I had a great meeting with him, and Lisa, I'll let you take it from there if you want to talk about what we talked about, please.
Yeah, so I'll talk about some of the specific bills we mentioned to them. Certainly, we started our meeting with talking about what's important to the city of Garden Ridge, open space, the cumulative impacts of all the aggregate industry around us, ETJs, those kinds of things. But specifically, we talked about Senate Bills 223 and Senate Bill 131. Both of those were written by Donna Campbell, or filed by Donna Campbell. Senate Bill 2, they're both in regards to TCEQ, and it inches us a little bit forward, just a little bit more progress. Senate Bill 223 requires that TCEQ has an automatic public hearing for a wastewater treatment facility. Previously, there was no automatic public meeting. You either had to get enough citizens chime in and ask TCEQ for that meeting, or get your legislator to call in or write an email, whatever it was, to get the actual meeting. This makes it automatic. The Senate Bill 131, it really just kind of adds categories of people who can call for a public hearing within that 450 yards around a concrete batch plant. It's not only the people that reside there, but there's like church, schools, daycares, those kinds of institutions can also request a meeting. So those are both good things. We thank them for working on that. We discussed House Bill 1687, which Representative Murr has put forward for many, many years, and it always dies in committee. It's about quarry reclamation plans. And I think, having looked at it, it's really complicated, but I think that obviously the financial burden for the quarries is off-putting. We were pleased to hear that Representative Isaac is working on, she's readdressing that concept and proposing more of an incentive for the quarries to participate in the planning, much more carrot, less stick. So Terry Franks said that he would keep us informed about how that was going. We also talked about Senate Bill 748. We 100% support the ad valorem tax relief for our disabled vets. As a small I can't speak today. Shackleford. Jill, I can't get that one. Nancy, do you want to explain this one? I'll pitch it to Nancy.
This bill would allow a municipality or taxing entity that has to be able to recoup some cost or some funds from the 100% disabled veterans exemption through a funding program that the state would be developing with this bill. Don't know how much that would equate to at this point, but is something that would be helpful to City of Garden Ridge, and I imagine many other cities in this northeast quadrant.
Nancy has mentioned before that we probably lose $500,000 in ad valorem taxes through the 100% tax or disabled vet tax exemption. So what this would do is, and there's certain cities that qualify for an assistant payment from the state. This makes it open to all municipalities. It did. So it's a state disabled veteran assistant payment that would certainly bolster our budget. We also spoke about not supporting any of the bills, and there's a lot of them that shrink our ETJs because of the level of protection, the very little level of protection that it gives our city and our citizens. We thanked Representative Isaac for writing a letter to TCEQ in regards to that automatic public meeting. There is a wastewater facilities permit out there that is talking about 600,000 gallons a day of effluent,
Treated water.
treated water, that will have some impact on our aquifers. We also noted that we appreciated Governor Abbott's comments about preserving open space and adding parks throughout the state. He made some great remarks at the 100th anniversary of the Texas Parks celebration. So he had some good things to say, and we expressed our support of that as well. What else? Did I get it all?
I think so. That was great. We had a great day, Nancy, right? Lise, we had a great day. Council, you know, I'm all about relationship building and network building and making sure people remember Garden Ridge. If they don't remember our priority list of things we wanted to talk about or our bills, even though they took very comprehensive notes, at least they remember Garden Ridge and that we came to them and saw them. And it was really fun to watch for me, and I'll speak for Lisa and Nancy too. It was really fun to watch our government, our state government at work. It reminded me a lot of my visits to DC when I was still in uniform on the House floor, the Senate floor with the tours. A lot of history there. Our government at work, and it was fun to go from our local municipality government, general law type A, moving on to the state level government and watching the democratic process at work. It was fun. And the best part about it is that we took some good Garden Ridge merch with us. So they've got mugs and T-shirts. And if nothing else, they remember Garden Ridge. But it's great because they know that we're going to visit again as an entire council, minus one, right? On Wednesday, the 29th of March. We're going up there on a bus. And we're going to see Donna Campbell again. We're going to see Carrie Isaac. And we're going to watch our government at work. And they're going to hear our message from Garden Ridge one more time. So one other thing we talked about was, you mentioned property taxes. And we are all about responsible reduction in property taxes for our residents. So I know that's a large concern out there with all of us and all of you out there. We had a great time. We're going back up again, and I don't think that'll be the last time, March 29th, that they see Garden Ridge visiting during this session. So thanks for going with, and Nancy as well. Council, any thoughts or comments, questions? I'll go to my left, okay?
Just looking forward to the bus trip.
And it'll be fun. Todd? You're going? I'm going. Jesse?
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. Lise?
You know me. I want to know if we are preparing an agenda to talk to our legislators about. I don't give out mugs and bags and stuff. I'm like, let's talk.
Yeah, of course, they're at home right now with their mug going, Garden Ridge, that's awesome.
I don't know.
What did they
We
want?
gave some to some kids that might only be
Wow.
20 and can't use their mugs.
You put, she did just give herself a project.
Oh, I
So-
don't, that's a project I don't mind.
It's
but-
a great transition. So when we go up there on the 29th of March, we're going as a contingent from Northeast Partnership, right? On a big old bus, here we go. On the 22nd of March, at the mayor's workshop, when we have dinner together, we are going to hash out our top 3 things from Northeast Partnership that we want to emphasize as a partnership to Donna Campbell, Carrie Isaac, and the others that'll be there present that represent the other cities. I will do my best to project what is important to Garden Ridge with my 12 other fellow mayors. And please know, you guys know me well enough that I don't take no for an answer a lot of times, and I'll do my best to make sure that our priorities are up there as well. So, and I have a great group of fellow mayors to work with. So that'll be our main message from NEP. and that'll be delivered by Ralph Gutierrez, our president of NEP right now. However, when we meet with Donna Campbell as a city again, briefly, and Carrie Isaac and/or the staffers, then we will have a further agenda to talk about. And there'll be a month's worth of legislation going on and updates. So, and thanks for helping put that together.
Okay, because I'm already making a list of things we need to talk about. I
know you got
started.
lists.
Yeah.
Okay. Kelly, any updates? Can you get with us? Okay. So we'll take you on the next one. No worries.
I'm very sad that I cannot go. I was looking very highly.
No worries.
Forward to going to this.
We'll catch you on the next one, man. Great. Thanks, council. Okay, moving on to 9E. Ordinance number 23703, 2023, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Garden Ridge, Texas, declaring unopposed candidates in the May 6, 2023 general election elected to office, canceling the general election, providing for severability, and declaring an effective date. This is posted as an addendum to the original agenda, and I will turn it over to Marissa initially to talk to us about that.
So this ordinance was posted as an addendum because the agenda was already posted when we received the certification of withdrawal from a candidate, leaving the 3 incumbents unopposed. We were still well within our 72-hour time for posting agendas, so we added this ordinance. Basically, this ordinance is what a lot of y'all are used to seeing back when we used to get to cancel our elections quite frequently. So this is just canceling the election, the general election, not the special election, just the general election, declaring the unopposed candidates elected to office. You won't actually do anything different until after the canvassing period would have occurred. So it's just a pretty standard ordinance that we've done before for canceling the general election due to unopposed candidates.
Thanks, Marissa. So council, any questions? So canceling the general election, the incumbents will still appear on the ballot and it'll say duly elected, is that correct, Marissa?
It'll say unopposed, declared elected.
Unopposed, declared elected, and then we're still having the special election, which is the proposed draft of the Home Rule Charter Commission. So, council, any questions regarding this? Up and down. Okay, so Marissa, does anything need to be very specific here in the wording of the motion?
I just need a motion to approve this ordinance as it's stated in front of you.
Okay. Council, if there's no further discussion, can I get a motion to approve as stated?
I move to approve ordinance number 237-03, 2023, as stated.
We have a motion to approve. Can I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion to approve and a second. Any further discussion? Call it to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes, and we pass ordinance number 23703, 2023. Thank you. That finishes off approvals and authorizations, item number 9, on to item number 10, updates for city council projects. Item number 10A1, mitigation of growth and encroachment impacts on Garden Ridge. Lise, anything to update that we haven't talked about already tonight?
No, I mean, I feel like the APOs and the quarries and all of that kind of fall into this category as well. I will say that Enchanted Bluff, their plat has been finally approved. It's gone through that whole process. No big changes, no surprises. Heimer Estates is larger than we thought it would be. And other than that, I mean, I think we need to not just talk about it, we need to figure out what to do about it. I mean, again, I think some of this, we need to communicate with our county commissioners, and I think maybe we talk to San Antonio again about their ETJ. I mean, I think we need to take some kind of action.
I completely agree. So that our discussions with San Antonio and the ETJ, is ongoing. We hit a little bit of a hiatus with drama with the city council there. So, but it is still ongoing, and we had encouraging news from Senator Campbell's office about the ETJ bill that's going to get discussed, that it shouldn't affect the city of Garden Ridge.
I was wrong about the bill.
What do you mean?
There's no mention of ETJs in that disannexation bill. I
Really?
was very much wrong about that
Okay,
bill.
great. So we're going to continue that process, and that's something that myself and Nancy, with Sam Johnson, our engineer, that we're continuing to work on. So we will continue to press forward with that. Lisa, anything else to add?
No.
Okay, great. Move on to, go, Jesse.
How many homes are they planning for Enchanted Bluff? Do you remember? 400?
The initial is around 400. It's all 1 acre minimum lots with one house on each acre. The total project is 550 acres. That would be Phase 3, which is across Comal, Cibolo Creek.
Oh, okay,
Sorry.
Cibolo Creek.
So I don't foresee that happening for quite some time, actually. So,
Okay. One thing I was gonna mention later, but I'll go ahead and mention it now. But, I was gonna talk to Sonia Jimenez again about doing a traffic demand study with these developments. So I was trying to get more information so I can give to her and see what I can get that done. I'll meet with her on Friday with our TAC meeting, but anyways, whatever
that'd be
information you
great.
can provide,
Yeah,
I just, okay.
thank you.
Thank you.
Rob, if I may.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, I think as a way of connecting directly with our own residents, I would recommend that the HOA presidents reach out to their citizens if they're not, some of the HOA members and citizens, so on, may not be aware. And even if they think they're not impacted by future traffic, everyone's going to be impacted by Bat Cave and 3009. And I know that in Trophy Oaks, she's mentioning it to their HOA. I know a lot of the HOA meetings are this month. So I'd recommend that any HOA president maybe communicate directly with your own citizens as well. Can't hurt to double up.
thanks, Kay. That is a great point. Awesome. Okay, moving on to 10A2, Great Springs Project. Lisa and Jesse.
I don't think, do we have any new news here? I don't think so.
The only thing is I followed up with Joey.
Oh,
with
the walkability thing.
The
But that's
walkability
AA,
community
that's-
project. I need your feedback on possible meeting dates.
I sent,
Did you?
yeah.
When? Okay. Okay, I'll look at it again. So we're meeting with, hopefully meeting with Joey on the walkability workshop in 2 weeks. So we'll have more information next month on that. That's it, I think, unless we had some preliminary meetings with TechStop, but I mean, nothing really additive at this point. We'll know more next month, hopefully. All right, Nancy?
Okay, awesome, thank you. 10A3, Economic Development, Council Liaison at Tri-County Chamber. Kay and Kelly. Updates?
Kelly was able to go to the mixer.
I was.
I go to the lunches. But I continue to meet more people over there that, possibly we can connect. And I even met someone that fabricates something that wouldn't necessarily help our city per se, but one of our residents. So it's just a matter of connecting, a lot of business cards flying and so on. So that's my input on it. And of course, as Chris mentioned earlier, the upcoming mixer that we're hosting.
Go ahead.
Yes, more on the mixer. And Chris, he wasn't, he didn't know this yet. We hadn't had a chance to talk, but Alamo Beer Company will be once again sponsoring the event. They are very excited about it, and we were talking with them about other things as well. As far as, yesterday, I had a phenomenal meeting yesterday. We have a really cool development that's going to eventually go up on 2252, and I think they're going to be our icebreaker. I think they're going to, this individual, I connected him with somebody yesterday. We had about a 2-hour meeting, And they're both very excited. They were talking about partnering up, and I think that's going to work out after all for them. And the only thing is, he's been waiting on his engineering firm for almost 2 months to sign off on something to submit to the city. And this person we met with actually got on the phone and called his contact, and we had him on the phone in about 10 minutes. So we're hoping that propels him to the next level so we can actually get some things approved for him and he can start building. And yeah, very exciting stuff. It will be something that will be a social environment for every family and their kids and dogs and everything, so.
Thanks
Very
for doing
excited.
that. That's great. You know, one of the things that when Nancy and I met with John and Jeff from First United Bank, they're excited about the future development, specifically of the vacant lots on FM 2252, that corridor through Garden Ridge. And we all agreed in that meeting that, not to be cliche, but if you build it, they will come. And it's going to take one development to happen where everybody starts to congregate there and everyone's going to go, oh, wait, there is enough traffic coming through Garden Ridge. It can be a destination spot as we work to do this.
Right, right. And on the flip side, we have another investor, a good friend of mine that keeps asking me, when are we going to start doing something in Garden Ridge? And they can't find something to purchase and develop. So just putting that bug out there. And they would love something that's around 50 acres.
50 acres, oh, wow.
Um,
No, no.
And the other,
But
the
they'll
other thing-
take 10.
The other thing I want to mention is, Kay, thanks so much to both you and Kelly for going to the luncheons and representing Garden Ridge there, because that's very, very important. Kelly, thanks for going to the mixers and the events in the evening. But the fact that Tri-County was here with Chris Jimenez to talk to us in citizens' comments is a direct reflection of you guys going out there and networking and being there as representatives of us and the dais and our whole city. So thank you for doing that. That's a direct result of that, okay? So it's huge. Thank you.
Chris said he's going to be here every month.
Outstanding.
And
That's
let me
good.
add, Chris and Veterinaire, they're both on the board of directors now for the Tri-County Chamber. Yes, Missy, yep.
It's good work. Full steam ahead. Moving on to Jesse, primarily here, 10A4, Alamo Area Metropolitan Planning Organization. Jesse?
Well, the February meeting was canceled for the Technical Advisory Committee, and our next meeting is this Friday, so I really don't have anything to update, except like I mentioned about start talking to Sonia about the traffic demand modeling, and I'll find out what I need to provide for that.
Outstanding. Anybody have anything for Jesse with MPO? Moving on to item number 5. Jesse, do we have anything, updates for water?
I still owe Stephen an update for his report, trying to get some information there. I had got sidetracked for a while. I'll get back on that in the next week. But other than that, nothing to report.
Thank you so much. You are busy, as everybody up here. 10A6. Todd, that's you and I with council liaison to Comal ISD. Anything to add?
Well, the biggest thing is Comal ISD is calling a bond for this May election period. It, until they called it, I didn't know what was exactly going to be in it, includes a lot of construction to help complete Davenport High School. For folks that don't know, that high school was not completed when it was originally built. There was a lot of things that were left out that existed all of the other high schools in the area. Things like field house, ag barns, those were all left out, and it was done, quite frankly, so they didn't have to touch the tax rate. This new bond that's coming out is just short of $635 million. Sounds like a lot of money. It doesn't touch the tax rate. So it is a zero tax rate increase bond. It gets us most of what we need to complete Davenport. And just so people also understand it, the portables that are currently at Garden Ridge Elementary School, they're moving over to Davenport. They've got to have the classroom space. So it grew faster than they anticipated. We need to get all of this construction done just to keep up with the growth that's going on. So Any questions, see Camel ISD. I also need to remind folks up here that now that they've called this bond, we can't, as a council, endorse it or not endorse it. So, facts only.
Raj, and we have penciled in the superintendent, Dr. John Chapman, for April presentation for our council meeting to come and talk to us about the facts of the bond. So
Perfect. I meant to ask that when I was just
Yeah.
talking.
he's there. Hopefully it's him. I want him here. We deserve the superintendent to brief us on it. And May would be too late because early voting is over by then.
In
So,
April, yep.
so we will keep pressing forward with that. Anything else?
Nope.
Great. Thanks, Todd. Moving on to 10A7, welcome signage for the city. I think what we're waiting for, Kay, is budget amendment and see what we've got, what we can put forward to it.
Sure. I did reach out, however, to the gentleman on water tower signage, for, welcome signage. I reached out to the gentleman that gave us the quote last year and the one you met at TML, or saw again at TML. Just touched base with him and said, are we still, in the ballpark? Are there any significant changes that you might want to quote? And he said, nah. I mean, he's, not officially, but nah, not really. And I said, well, we're still investigating. And I told him, too, that we'd reached out to an artist to possibly create something, shall we say, more artistic. I've had trouble reaching her, so I think I'm going to give up. I've tried 3 times. I think I'm going to give up on her. But then he, of course, pitched the idea that, well, an artist. They'll come in and they'll say it's going to be in 2 colors, and then they're going to say, oh, we want, the birds in 3rd color, and it's going to be more money. I said, I believe I can handle that. So anyway, but he's totally easy, reachable. He's very good about returning my calls, actually. And then I also, on welcome signage, like if you want gateway signs, I reached back out also to Chris Greer, whom I spoke with and gave us the original quote last year of the 4 projects, all by individual name, and reached out to him and said, we want to review that and see if we segment it and possibly do one based on budget and so on and so forth. And I also have a link from Sean, actually, Sean Willis, our local resident architect, for a gentleman that he's worked with for signage, and I have a call in. His name is Steve, and I have a call in with him as well to see about, an alternative bid of some sort. So I hopefully can even at least have maybe pictures or conceptual things next month.
Thanks, Kay. Council, anything to add or ask Kay? Awesome. Great work. Okay, that concludes item number 10. On to item number 11, discussion of future agenda items. Council, anything that you want to see on April's agenda? Nope? Okay. Go ahead, Kay. Sorry.
I wonder if we should consider putting on the agenda some discussion that you and I have had on, and with Eric in Public Works, about animal programs and so on. Or do you want to wait?
Can we wait on that? Because I wanted to talk with Nancy about that to see where we wanted to put that as a discussion. But I know exactly what you're talking
You know
about,
what
and can I get back to you on that?
Absolutely,
You can put it on the agenda, but we have a plan for that, if that works.
Okay.
Does that work?
Right, and
Okay.
I have research as well, so.
Okay, great. Thank you. Anybody else? All right, moving on to item number 12, citizen comment period. Limited to 2 minutes. You don't have to have signed up in order to come forward and speak. Any takers? Yes, sir, Dr. Miller. As always, sir, it's good to see you. And the floor is yours.
It's difficult to come up here as a contrarian because I can think of a lot of things to criticize. I actually came up to talk about the addendum to the agenda you guys got. It looks like we won't have an election for replacing any of you guys, and that's good. I look at it as, like my wife used to tell me, you're not much, but you're all we got. And The other thing she used to tell me, I hate this one. I don't care if you never win another race, you're still my horse. So I'm glad you guys are unopposed. I think there is room for some improvement in terms of communication. I see the president has a State of the Union, the governor has a State of the State, and somewhere down the line we need to have a State of the City or something. I don't know about the analytics for people that watch the video of the city council meetings, but even myself, I'm amazed at how much you guys have been doing, and I'm very proud to be a resident of the city because of that, but I don't know if I'm the only one. I don't know how many people look at it on video. It's not in the grapevine. I look around and the room is empty, and I'm thinking, for a progressive city that I think we are, everybody can't be that apathetic about what goes on. So I'm missing something. I don't know what it is, but congratulations. Looking forward for the next 2 years.
Thanks, Dr. Miller. Anyone else? Yes, sir. John McCaw, sir, the floor is yours. Some things never change. There you go, that's right. Our attorney's going to help you out.
Thank you. One thing I've noticed is that if you're not doing a good job, people complain. The fact that nobody makes very many comments tells me you're doing a great job, and I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. It's always good to see you. Anyone else? Sharon? Okay. We will close out item number 12 and move on to 13. Reports and comments from mayor and city council members about all of the things you see listed. So I have a couple of things to add from stuff we've said tonight, but I will start on my left. Surprise, Kay.
Yeah.
Anything to add with what's listed there?
Just, may I comment on one of the, yeah. I just wanted to give a shout out to the Women's Club. I did attend their event, and kudos to them for trying something different, because I know when I was on the board, we tried something new, and we didn't know how well it would go. And I think they did a wonderful job. Took a lot of courage, really, to put the time, money, and effort into what they did, and I would certainly go back again. So I know Cheryl knows that, but I just wanted to give a shout out in public.
That's great. Thanks. Awesome. Todd?
Boy Scouts, road cleanup. The next one you're planning for families is the 1st of April, correct? I will try to do the Boy Scout one on the same day. We'll have a massive Garden Ridge Road cleaning event on the 1st of April.
Okay, so let's continue with that. It's the Texas Trash Off for TxDOT.
Trash off, for the month of April, yeah.
The whole month of April.
Yep.
But what I'd like to be able to do is do 2252.
Yep.
And then come on down 3009. We don't, that's not part of our Families of Garden Ridge Adopt a Highway program, but the entity that is doesn't do it very well. So
I have background on that. We can talk later.
all right, cool. Can we, can you help me organize something like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see what we can do. It's a week when we may have a scout camp out, but we may be very local here, which may be advantageous, because then we could just grab the kids, throw them in trucks, run over here, pick stuff up.
All we need to
run
do
back
is
to our
just
camp out.
get on both sides of the road.
And go.
Go get the big stuff, you know, and just go on down.
Yep.
Does that work? We'll work on that?
That works.
Cool. It's
mean-
also Lisa's birthday, so
April Fool.
April
it's
Fools.
April Fool's Day. That's right. So.
Tell the Boy Scouts there'll be cupcakes.
So we'll keep,
Jesse's bringing them.
keep on moving.
That'll
Okay.
bring 'em.
Keep it going here. Keep it going. Okay, so we know about Families of Garden Ridge. We'll see you April 1st. And Courtney, hey, thanks for putting that in the grapevine, the next 3 events. Because as I was sending out an email last night talking about this, I'm like, dang it, did I miss the grapevine again? And you had me covered, so as always. So That was great work. Thanks for that. And council, we'll see you out there to celebrate Lisa's birthday and help pick up 2252 and 3009.
I'll give you another address to celebrate my
Thank you.
birthday.
I thank you in advance of that. Jesse? Nothing? Lise?
Yes, update on Hill Country Alliance Leadership Institute. I've had 2 sessions since we had our last meeting. One was online, and the speakers were Katie from the Texas Association of Counties, who laid out how the legislative calendar works, and that was pretty fascinating. The other was the general counsel for TML, and he talked about 6 or 7 bills, which we'll keep talking about, that are gonna that could negatively impact. No, we're going to say city in this case, us as a city. The second session, we went as a group to the Capitol and gathered in a members' lounge. House members Trox, Claire, Weiner, and Tracy King stopped by, as well as Senator Flores and Campbell. And they, we asked them questions about what their priorities, a lot of emphasis on water. And some good ideas. One of the good things about this session is the House has formed its first water caucus, and it's got 70-something members, so they're really trying to bring that issue to the forefront and keep the legislators involved. There was also speakers. We had 2 speakers. We had more than that, actually. 2 speakers. We had the CEO from the Texas Water Foundation and the executive director of the Texas Alliance of Groundwater Districts. And, we heard a lot of the same problems, just across the board in the smaller cities. I mean, Fredericksburg is there, Bulverde's there. So we're all suffering, from the same things. And they had some good answers. And we also had a really nice session with some staffers that kind of talked about how to approach your representative, and which really you need to build a relationship with the staffers. So, but they had all kinds of stories and things that I think were very helpful. So I'm enjoying it. I think it's really beneficial.
Awesome. Thanks for doing that and representing the city, Lisa. Kelly?
Mixer, April 27th, not 20th, April 27th. But I want to mention again, guys, I'll be sending you a Facebook. Now that we have the sponsor secured, I'll send you the Facebook invite. Love for department heads from the city to come out. I know people enjoyed talking with you guys at the last one. But council members, if you guys can forward those invites out once we get the flyer going, that'd be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Thanks, Kelly. The only thing I have to add, we've talked about everything else, is under counties and Comal County. I had a really nice meeting with our county judge, Judge Sherman Krause, yesterday in my office, just the 2 of us. And he came down to talk about something that Comal County is looking for help paying for, so dispatch services. This is something that was presented to the city. I don't know that it got to the council, but former Mayor Thompson worked with it along with Nancy and Chief regarding basically helping pay for airtime with dispatch services. So nothing really to report on that. Chief and Nancy, thank you for all the research and homework that you did, and then the briefings and the information you gave me. That was very, very helpful. And we had a good conversation. We're going to meet again up in his office, probably at the end of this month, if not in early April, to continue that discussion. But more importantly, you remember from last month's meeting, we talked about increasing our communication with our Commissioners Court and our Commissioner Scott Hogg and our judge. And so he and I are doing that now. We had a great conversation and talked about communication and how important that is and establishing that relationship. And he's more than happy to see Garden Ridge more present and out there a little bit more. than we may have been in the past. So I'll keep you guys informed of what's going on, but for now, it's just informational, so it's good stuff. And you know how much I believe in that network and communication. Anything? Awesome. Okay. That ends item number 13. Item number 14 is executive session. The council will recess its open meeting and reconvene in executive session. 14A, pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.0711 and 551.0712, consultation with attorney. 14A1, on a matter in which the duty of the attorney to the governmental body under the Texas Disciplinary Rules of Professional Conduct of the State Bar of Texas clearly conflicts with this chapter, Guadalupe Ready Mix permit applications. With that, we will go into open meeting recess at 7:50, and we'll reconvene at 8 o'clock in the room behind us, executive session chambers. And with that, we are in open meeting recess. Thank you. Item number 15, there are no business items to bring forward back into regular session from executive session. So I will close 15 and open up item number 16, adjournment. There being no further business, the City Council regular meeting is adjourned at 9:09 p.m. Thank you.